We're so lucky. We're so lucky to be here and be a part of this festival. And we can thank Nicholas. He's in the back. Everybody say hi to Nicholas and his family, because he's our eyes and ears, and he has created the most amazing and unique festival, I think, in the United States and maybe the world, right? When people ask me about the Missouri Cherry Blossom Festival, I tell them it's the most unique aspect of any festival you're ever going to go. It's this appreciation for American entertainment and American history. I mean, we just had Ulysses S. Grant's great-grandson here on the stage, okay, with Jennifer Coolidge and all these great people. I mean, we have presidential descendants out here. We have legends of television and film right here on our stage. But we also have them in the audience, too. There's a few, mixed celebrities amongst you, so you'll never know who you're sitting next to in Marshfield. You'll never, ever know. It's crazy. I remember one year we had Mary Eisenhower with Khrushchev's grandson at the same table. I mean, incredible, right? This may be our biggest panel that we've ever had, and we've got some names that have been here for many times before, some veterans. I think Carolyn probably is the biggest veteran here. No, I didn't say it. I didn't say you're the oldest. You said you're the oldest. Carolyn and I have been texting each other for probably, I don't know, I've known her for 10 years, and I text her for happy birthday and Merry Christmas. Of course, Merry Christmas, right? You would not want to not say Merry Christmas to Zuzu. So out there, I just said, can you just text me really quick? And she said, I don't have your number. So, yeah, it's in there. You'll have to look. Probably under annoying Air Force guy. Yeah. 85. You said it, I didn't. All right. Carolyn's mic is not working. Everyone check their mics to make sure their mics are okay.
Hello.
All right, those sound working. Okay.
Test.
Okay, it's working. Okay, those mics you got to talk into, because remember, the world is watching. We're live streaming, so we have to speak up. So what I'm going to do is because we have a big panel, I'm going to go down the panel, and you guys can introduce yourselves, and then we're going to give the chance to the audience, because I know you guys have questions. It's always the biggest thing. You guys you want to ask your questions to your favorite stars. So let's start right down here with this lovely gentleman right here.
David Harper from the Waltons.
The Waltons!
I was GW from the Waltons.
Hey!
David DeRemus.
Thanks, Dave.
And also Nanny Professor. That goes even further back.
Nanny and the Professor. Martha.
I know. Go ahead.
Let's try again. Can you hear me yet?
Yeah, there you go.
Martha Nix. I was first on Days of Our Lives for 3 years, and then the Waltons. Did some episodes of Little House and a lot of other things back in the day.
Making her cherry blossom debut. I'm sorry. Keep yelling at me.
What? Oh, for the Lord's sake. There we go. How's that?
There we go.
Yeah.
It's my first time with a microphone. Not. Stephanie Kramer, and I'm best known for the NBC series Hunter.
Woo!
I'm Carolyn Grimes, and I played Zuzu in the movie It's a Wonderful Life, along with many other things.
My name is Gigi Perot, and I worked as a child actress in the 40s and 50s, about 50 movies, 100 TV shows. I have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
She has a star.
Wow. I was one of the first 50, and I was there with a shovel for the groundbreaking ceremony, so it was lots of fun.
John Provost, best known as Timmy from Lassie.
Mary Badham, best known for To Kill a Mockingbird, and others.
Judy Norton, best known as Mary Ellen on the Waltons.
Jeannie Russell, best known as Margaret on Dennis the Menace. And I also ran down that hill for Alfred Hitchcock and the Birds.
My name's Clint Howard, and I've been in the business for 65 years. And I was in The Andy Griffith Show and Gentle Ben and a boatload of other entertainment. And I'm really, really happy to be here. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Tammy Beulah, and I'm best known for being the girlfriend you love to hate on the Waltons, Marsha Woolery.
She's so nice.
No, you should have it on. Unmute.
Could I give her this one?
Yes, you can give her that one.
His fault.
There you go. We got it.
My fault.
Well, yeah. I'm Tina Cole, and no one could hate you. What is that? I don't know.
Some people that watch the show
Yeah, really. All right. Anyway, I was on the first show ever shot in Hawaii. I was the female lead after Connie Stevens in Hawaiian Eye. And then probably the most known for My Three Sons, I played the wife of the oldest son, Robbie, Katie, and had the triplets on the show. And I'm a member of America's first family of song. It was on television before the Osmonds and the Jacksons, the King family.
Hi, I'm Ray Toller, and I guess I'm best known for several of the movies I was in: Home Alone, A League of Their Own, U.S. Marshals, and several TV shows, TV series. I've been in the business about 50 years, and I got a star on the Walk of Fame last year here in Marshfield. I'm going to be doing a one-man show here right here on Saturday morning at 9 o'clock, and I'll be representing the artist Francis Carpenter, who lived for 6 months in the White House painting portraits of Abraham Lincoln and his family.
And that's a shameless plug there, right?
Yes, it is.
And you do it. You do it. You know, the most amazing thing about Marshfield is we're always having these firsts, and we do have a first. I looked this up. So we have a person on the stage that has more credits, more acting credits than anyone in the history of the Cherry Blossom Festival. And that's that gentleman right there, Mr. Clint Howard. Clint comes from Hollywood royalty. His dad was an amazing actor, Rance Howard, and he was also a very good friend of mine. He was my lunch buddy at Bob's Big Boy. That's what led Clint and I together. And of course, his brother, he shares stardom with his Academy Award-winning brother, Ron Howard. So we welcome Clint for the very first time in his inaugural Cherry Blossom Festival.
And I hope it's not the last.
No way.
What a wonderful vibration.
No way at all. So Carolyn, since you've been here the longest, as far as our longest guest, how has the Cherry Blossom Festival changed from the early days of when you first came to, say, now?
Well, the first time we came, it was earlier in the year, and the cherry blossoms were really out. But it rained, it snowed, it sleeted, it was horrible. So that was the first time we came, and it was quite the moment because one of the Munchkins was here, Mickey Carroll, and there were so many wonderful people, but it was much smaller than it is now. It grows more every year, and I meet more people, and I think that it's becoming more well-known, and it's all about folks and home stuff and the things that you watch on TV and that are part of your lives, and you get all involved, and I think that's what keeps it alive and keeps it growing.
Yeah.
So we can thank Nicholas Inman for that.
We love Nick. And I mean, you worked with the legendary General Jimmy Stewart.
I did.
And you just got done shooting a movie about General Stewart's life. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Jimmy Stewart had a long career in the service, and he did 20 missions. And they kind of emotionally racked him up. He was in a pretty bad shape when he came home. He didn't know what he wanted to do with his life. He didn't know if life was worth living. He was just a mess. So Frank Capra got a hold of him, and they talked him into being this man who decides he doesn't want to live anymore and jumps in the river, and then he's dead, and then he comes back alive, and he said, sure, I'll do it. And so because of the film, It's a Wonderful Life, he went through a lot of trauma while he made the film, but it was good because it helped him adjust to civilian life, and it helped him heal somewhat. And it was a great, great thing for him to go through. And it's all about the making of It's a Wonderful Life and how It's a Wonderful Life really affected his life.
And who do you play in the movie?
Well, I played the mayor's wife in his hometown when he comes home from the war.
So everybody,
I have a cameo.
everyone see it. It's called Jimmy, and it's getting ready to come out. When's it come out, Carolyn?
November the 6th, Armistice Day, because it's all about servicemen.
Yeah, of course. So legends, legends, legends. Gregory Peck. Wow. Tell us about your journey to To Kill a Mockingbird.
I had no clue who Gregory Peck was. Yeah, I was just a normal little kid in Birmingham, Alabama. And my mom had her own radio show. She did theater with the local town and gown theater, and she did opera. So she was really into it. The theater manager, James Hatcher, said, you ought to bring little Mary in because I've got these movie people coming in and they're looking for children for this film. Mom's like, she's not an actor, she didn't know anything. Just bring her in. Well, Henry's gonna say no, that was my dad. And she went and asked my dad and he said no. And my mom was so brilliant, she's like, now, Henry, dear, what are the chances the child will get the part anyway? Oh, well. So we go out, and Mr. Peck met us at the airport, and it was great. We became really good friends. We were 5 months filming, so it was a long shoot, but we had never done anything. Philip, myself, John Megna, we were all new actors to film. And so they really took their time with us in filming to teach us how to do things. And the Pecks were so wonderful. I would go and spend the weekends at their house. And basically, every weekend I was over there. So our friendship lasted. I was up at the house just a few weeks before he passed away. All that time, and now his daughter, Cecilia Peck, who's a documentary filmmaker, she and I are going to start a show called, they've changed the name now. I better not say it because I don't remember exactly what it is. But anyway, it's about being daughters of Atticus, and we're going to start rehearsals in June in Birmingham, Alabama, at the theater where I was picked for Mockingbird, and then we'll be doing the show in September, so we're hoping maybe one year we can come here.
Exciting. We'd love that. We'd love that. David, all my Waltons people. TV stardom is different from movie stardom, and TV stars tell us that, and because we think we know you because you're in our house. What was that like, being on such a popular show that really was a part of our family?
I have no idea. It's like, this is your job, go here, do this. And we were so little.
Unmute it.
Oh, is it? I believe it's on. Can you hear me?
There we go.
There
You got to
go.
talk into the mic, yeah.
All right. So, it was a big adventure when we first started because we were so little. And then as time went on, it's just like work.
Yeah.
How many of you folks really look forward to waking up every morning and going to a job? Some of you, hopefully many, but we didn't have any perception of whether it was a big deal or not. Just only in retrospect.
Sure, yeah.
Because you people won't let us go.
We won't let you go. David?
Well, for myself, I got, of course, the series Nanny and the Professor before the Waltons. And I remember my parents saying when it was on TV, you got to sit down and watch this because you need to critique yourself and get better. And it's like, okay. But my objective every single time I saw it was when can I go outside and play?
Right.
Because that's what I want to do. I'm already working and doing that, but I want to go outside and play. So for me, and And then, of course, it also got introduced to my children, and my children responded, "Dad, can we go out and play?"
Yeah. Yeah. Martha, how about you? Because you came into the Waltons, and so how was that coming onto a show that was established? And
Well, for me, I was on days for 3 years, so going and working on that set and experiencing, like, that was interesting because, like, one time my biological family went to Florida on a trip, and on the show, my biological mother kidnapped me and took me to Disney World. So here I am, about 11 years old, at Disney World, and a woman runs up to me and she goes, "Janice, you're here, call the authorities." And I'm like, "No, I'm Martha, and so that was the weird part of people not being able to separate television from that. And then I was written out of the show to come back, and then they fired the writers, so I didn't get to go back on days. So it was a really difficult time for me, because when you're a TV actor, you're not going to school until, like, on the Waltons, you go on hiatus. So there's like a 2 to 3 month period where we go back to normal school, and we're anything but normal. Everybody knows us because, like you said, we're in their living room.
Yeah.
So I hated not working. And so being on the Waltons, it was like being back at home and having a new family where I was comfortable because they're an incredibly welcoming cast.
Tammy, you said the girlfriend that everybody loved to hate. I mean, did you get resentment from other girls that are, seeing you on the street and being like...
Resentment?
Yeah.
No. What I got was from the moms telling me I treated John Boy badly. Not. Marsha Woolery was absolutely in love. Oh, we're going to argue now? Okay.
That's
Marsha
the family.
Woolery was absolutely in love with John Boy. John Boy, on the other hand, I'm sorry to just put it bluntly, he was the fickle one. How many girlfriends did John Boy have on the show? Can anybody name it? More than 10? How many people did Marsha love? Just John Boy. So I thought it was unfair when people thought that I was treating him badly. I'm sorry. Every time I saw the show with another girlfriend, I was like, darn.
Yeah. Judy, we don't know when you're working, you're working, and you don't. Do you have a grasp at really what's happening around you and what's going to be received by your audience?
We did not, as David mentioned, because this was a show that started in 1972, so no social media, and we shot I don't know how many episodes before one even went live on the air. We did have The Homecoming, which was clearly very popular and which was what triggered the network agreeing to do the Waltons. But there was a little caveat on that because it was a point where they were taking a lot of heat from the moral majority group saying there was too much sex and violence on television. So somebody at CBS said, oh, here's this nice, sweet little show about a family. We'll put it on. It'll last 13 episodes. Nobody will watch it. And then we can go, see, no one wants to watch that kind of television. They put us in the most killer time slot against Flip Wilson and Mod Squad, which were two of the biggest hits at the time. Thought, it'll be gone. And our producers really went out and fought for it. They went to the rural communities. They went to the heartland of America. They went to where those families were that were the Waltons and lived that life and believed in what the show had to say. And they took out ads and they did interviews and they said, this is a beautiful show, please don't let it die. And it was at grassroots out to all of you who embraced the show, that saved the show. And by the end of the first season, we had gone from about the basement of the ratings to like #1 or something, and there we were for years and years. So,
and if you watched television in the 70s and the 80s, especially the 80s, you just saw this beautiful lady's face all over the place because you worked so much, and then to get so many great jobs, and then to get another really great job in Hunter, so that must have been really amazing for you.
Yes.
She said yes.
I actually started in theater when I was 12. So my background was in legit theater and in musicals. And I was like Maria in West Side Story when I was 18. And I thought I was going to continue on to New York, but when I went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, and when I graduated on graduation day, the agency, William Morris, came and said, hey, we want to talk to you. So it escalated from there, and I just went on into TV, and Hunter was actually my 4th series. But it was the one that hit the biggest and obviously made the largest impact for me personally and for many others. And one thing I'll always be grateful for was in portraying that particular character of Sergeant Dee Dee McCall. That was the first time that a woman was portrayed as the equal to the man in the same job. And that made a really big difference in the psyche of a lot of women.
Yeah.
And, pardon me, I'm always approached by women, everywhere, in the airport, the supermarket, many places traveling, and they'll come up and say, it's because of you I became an attorney, or it's because of you I left my abusive husband. You showed me the strength it took and the courage and blah, blah, blah. It wasn't me. It was the character I portrayed. So I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to make a positive difference for a lot of women.
Yeah. And if you
just
look,
not knowing that was happening,
and
it was just a byproduct of what was going on.
to go along with what you're saying, if you look up Hunter and TV show, you see the 2 faces on every image on Google.
Yeah, there was
Yours
just 2 of
and
us
his,
holding down that show. We didn't have an ensemble cast.
But what I'm
It was
saying
like
is to go along with
90-hour
what you're
work
saying.
weeks.
Sometimes you see the male lead mostly,
Right.
and he's the cop, and you're kind of the co-star. But you see those 2 faces.
Yeah, we were both kicking butt.
Nice. Tell me what it's like to walk over one's own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Well, it's a little strange. But a quick story about the Hollywood Star. Number one, I mentioned I was there for the groundbreaking. And my daughter, who is here with me today, I have both daughters with me, her husband was from New York, okay? And so he came here, met my daughter, they got married 30 years ago, however long it's been, 35 maybe. And he said he was getting jobs in Hollywood at various studios as a director and so on. And he would walk on the boulevard and he'd walk over and see that name, my name, Gigi Perot, and say, I wonder who that is, and so on. He ended up getting engaged to my daughter. And when he met me, he said, I'm sorry, what was your name? And I said, Gigi Perot. And he said, I walked over your star before I even knew you. And now I am happily living with Dominic, my son-in-law, and my daughter in their home in Hollywood. And no, it's a little creepy when you
Do you
walk
go
over
down
it
there
yourself.
and polish it?
No, I do not polish
No?
it. I did
I'll
have-
polish it the next time I'm on the Walk of Fame.
My goddaughter, I've 2 goddaughters. One of them used to go down there because she lived very close up in the hills there. And she would go down and she'd say, I had to scrape some gum off your star. And she said, and then I brought some Brasso and I did clean it up. But no, it's very exciting and very, very gratifying to know that I was one of the first 50 that they asked to be on it. And
3,422 people on the Hollywood Walk
now.
of Fame. Yeah, now.
Yeah, it started with 50 of us.
Yeah.
So no, it's very exciting. And
Did you have to pay for it back then?
No, I did
Guess
not
what?
have to pay
They
for
have to
it.
pay for it now. The celebrities pay $35,000 to have their own star. They have to pay the city of Los Angeles to close the streets and for the ceremony, and then they pay an annual fee to have it cleaned.
Yes. And thank goodness
Crazy, right?
I didn't have to do that because I don't think I would have had an extra $35,000 rolling around somehow.
John, tell me, because you lived with Lassie, you lived with the dog, and they wanted to build that relationship that we fell in love with on the screen. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, that relationship between the boy and the dog, you couldn't fake that. It was obvious. And I had, at the time, Lassie had been on for 3 years. Tommy Reddick played Jeff Miller. And I watched the show, never thinking I would, be there, be on that series. I had been in and done about 10 movies prior to that, and at the time I was in Japan filming a movie for RKO. It was one of the first American movies filmed in Japan after the war, 1956. And we spent 3.5 months in Japan. But at that time, they were looking for somebody to replace Tommy because he had outgrown the part. So when I got back from Japan, I met with the producers of Lassie, and everybody said, okay, yeah, we know you can act, you look like the kid we want, but how do you get along with big dogs? Well, at the time, my father was an aeronautical engineer, and we were living out in Pomona, and it was very rural back then, and I had a pony, my sister had a horse and goats. We had all kinds of animals, so I was fine with it. But they really wanted to see how Lassie would accept me. So I went at, not quite 7 years old and lived with Red Weatherwax and Lassie and a few of his other collies on his ranch out in San Fernando Valley. And so I like to say is I spent a long weekend with Lassie, came back to the studio Monday morning, we walked into the office, and Lassie gave me 2 paws up.
We all love Dennis the Menace, but you mentioned it yourself. You got to work with the notorious Alfred Hitchcock. And if you could tell us a little bit about what it was like to work for Hitch.
Okay, well, I'm asked a lot, were you scared working for Alfred Hitchcock? And the answer was no. By then I was a seasoned professional. I was doing the series, Dennis the Menace, and as a result of that, I had a one-on-one interview with Alfred Hitchcock in his office. And he was sitting behind his desk, and he had storyboard all over his office, the kids with their eyes gouged out. And he's just staring at me, okay? And so I did what I was trained to do. I started selling myself. I went, oh, wow. I said, I love horror. I'm on a comedy series, and I'd love to do a horror film. It's my very favorite genre. And he just kind of looked at me and, And then somehow he signaled, at the front office that the interview was over, and I got the call when I got home. I got the job, and we were going to Bodega Bay, and we'd get scripts. And the script turned out to be about 13 pages in very detailed description of the schoolhouse sequence. When she dragged on her cigarette. And the only dialogue, if you could call it that, it's the only music, was that song we sang. Yeah. So at first the Hollywood mothers are going, what? My kid doesn't do it. This is like extra work. But we were there. It was for Hitchcock, and we figured, why not? And we had a blast. And we were, right there in the script, it was scheduled to do treadmill work back in Hollywood because he couldn't get his camera truck close enough. Kids would fall and snowball. And very often, Suzanne Plachette was the first one to aid a fallen kid. And so wouldn't you know it, the call goes out for the treadmill day, and I had to go do Dennis the Menace. So I had to slap on my Margaret drag, okay? So, and do Dennis the Menace, and I missed where my position on the treadmill was, and it was the one they used in publicity with Tippi Hedren. She's wearing my tacky little checkered sweater. But anyway, but he didn't speak to us on set.
Wow.
Didn't speak to us. Morning, Mr. Hitchcock. Nothing, And so, but it was great. I figured, well, that's the way he works. But I was such a seasoned professional by that time that no, I wasn't scared. My brother had already done one of his episodics. And I thought, well, okay, he's different.
Ray, what's it like to be a part of a Christmas legacy? Because Home Alone is a Christmas legacy.
Home Alone, yeah, well, it's a good residual every year.
Yeah, so you said residuals. So let's talk residuals, because we have somebody on stage that I told you has the most credits of anybody. What's the smallest residual check? Zero. It costs more. 1 cent. 1 cent. 63 cents. 63. Clint?
I have a folder in my office that has numerous 1 cent gross, 0 net. Now, it costs them probably a couple of bucks to cut that check. Now, the very first time I got a 1 cent gross, 0 net check, I called my dad. I said, Dad, I got it. I'm the winner. I got a check, 1 cent gross, 0 net. And my old man, the next words out of his mouth was, well, who got the penny? And I look down and I go, the feds did. So yeah, we get them. we get teeny weeny little ones. I've gotten ones for $0, but
Yeah.
it's the 2 cent gross, 1 cent net, or 4 cent gross, 2 cent net.
So January, February for you, the checks are pretty good.
They
They get better.
actually come a little bit earlier than that.
Okay.
But, because I think the studio buys, they buy the movie
Sure.
from the studio for TV, and then they cut the check.
Tina, what'd you get
The money gets there in time for Christmas.
What'd you get $0 for?
I don't think this is on. He keeps turning me
No,
off.
it's on. See, it's on.
Hello?
No? Let me see.
See, he turns me off all the time.
Okay, don't touch this one. There you go. There.
Hello?
There you go.
No. I don't remember the $0,
Oh,
but
okay.
I wish I had framed it because it's pretty unusual in most situations. My Three Sons has been on for 66 years, has never been off the air, and I have not received a penny in 40.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
yeah. Somebody's getting it, right? It's someone. Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Call this government. But
When-
it's a
when-
percentage
Well,
thing.
there was a big spate of that just like last week, or like a couple of months ago. And I lived in Chicago for 31 years, and all of my actor friends in Chicago were on Facebook holding up their 1 cent checks. And I said, we ought to have a parade.
Tammy, you told a story once about taking care of a patient, and I think they were watching something on television. Or did you say something to them and say, oh, you know
want
what?
to know a story about a patient? Okay.
Yeah. By the way,
There-
she was a nurse.
I've been a nurse for 40 years now. I worked in ICU for about 20 of that, and ER for the rest. So in ER, I could get away with just ignoring people when they were saying, do I know you? Do you look familiar? And then on the TV in the room is the Waltons playing. No. But there was a gentleman I took care of in ICU for several days, and he kept saying, I know you, don't I know you? I know you from somewhere. And he would say to his wife, now, doesn't she look like, well, didn't we know her from? And I would just, give him his medicine, wash his back, fluff his pillow. And finally he said, I know. She looks like Cousin Diane from Virginia. And I said, all right, okay, for days and days he's been doing this. And I said, do you watch the Waltons? And he goes, oh, that's it. And then he knew who I was finally. But it was bugging. It used to bug people, just bug them. And it was somebody I finally told, the other people I did not.
Do you ever keep it on, Judy, if you're clicking through the channels? Do you watch a little bit of it?
Sometimes.
Yeah. Everybody, if your show's on TV, do you keep it on for a second? Stephanie, you're shaking your head no. No?
That's correct, no.
Yeah. Because you lived it, right? You did it.
I once was going through it, and I said, oh, Hunter's on. Oh, wow, look at that. I put it on. I couldn't tell you what was happening, who the people were. All I could look at was all that crazy damn hair and makeup and shoulder pads coming out of your ears.
But you know what? The people that are going to be there tomorrow,
Yeah,
and
they
these
remember.
people, they remember,
Well, thank
and
God,
they'll tell you
'cause
what
I
you
don't know what I
did.
did yesterday. But people come up and say, remember that scene when you did the yubbity yubbity? And I'm like, whoop, nope.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
AFI has listed Scout as one of the most memorable children characters in cinematic history. That's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool thing, Mary, to be
very
a part
cool.
of. Yeah, yeah.
And I was just a little kid playing. I was just having fun.
Right.
I mean, I didn't know anything about acting or anything.
Yeah.
And it was just,
Yeah.
Bob Mulligan was one of the greatest directors we ever had. I think Hollywood lost somebody really wonderful with him because he never gave us directions. He would let us do the scene. He would basically give us the blocking, which means you're going to go from point A to point B to point C, and then let us deal with it. And then after he called cut, if he had to tweak it, he'd tweak it. But he would do things like
We never saw anyone out of costume, out of makeup, until we were all done shooting with them.
Wow.
And it was so great. So he was so sharp because he could get those reactions. Like the time when we're looking at the dolls from the tree, and we're having that really intense, and he's got us there really concentrating, and then Boo's dad comes up with the trowel and hits it on that piece of wood. We didn't know him. We didn't know what he was going to do or anything. And when that hit happened, we looked up, and that's how he got that startled thing. And then, like with the Boo scene, never saw Boo. And I was standing by the bed. They opened the door. It was just the easiest thing. Well, hey, Boo.
Yeah.
There you are.
Yeah.
I mean, he was brilliant.
You're pointing, what? Did you want to say something, Carolyn? Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that a lot of us old stars.
There you go with the
way
old
back
again.
when, we did a lot of movies as kids. And It's a Wonderful Life, big movie, has shown for years and years.
Christmas Legacy.
We never got a dime in residuals. Donna Reed, Jimmy Stewart, no one got a penny.
That's crazy.
Us kid actors really got screwed.
What year, do we know what year was it 1960?
60
for the residual checks. So
just
before
under the wire.
1960, no money.
No money.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
1960,
So the studios make all the money, right?
1960, on Hawaii and I, we got three complete runs of residuals.
Right.
By the time, and of course Lucy, those people didn't get anything,
Sure.
like you said. By the time Sons came around, and that started in 60, but went on, we got 10 runs.
Wow.
And after that, there was nothing. And
It's the
that's
same
why
for
there
Dennis,
was a
right?
big,
Yeah.
big strike in the 80s that changed everything, but it still goes down to zero.
Zero.
And when it goes out of the country,
No, go ahead, finish, please.
when it goes out of the country, everybody's got to get their piece of the pie. And that's why we get these 1-cent checks, because we just had property. There was a check. Did you get yours? This check for $8. It was like, by the time it had gone overseas, they'd taken their cut. It comes here. The studio takes their cut. The government takes their cut. The state of California, plus the state of Virginia.
It's a lot.
So that's why we don't get hardly anything.
Was it tough being a child actor? I mean, the three of you were, and everyone here was, but I mean, was it hard for you to?
Like you said, movies are different than television. Television, you're in people's living room. You're in their bedroom, okay?
Yeah.
And they see you. So when I was doing Lassie, I'm 11, 12 years old, and some of my buddies, we want to go to a matinee on a Saturday afternoon. And I can remember going to a matinee, and some other little kids are there, and they come up to me. What are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. You're supposed to be on the farm. See,
It's real life to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it different? No, I had a great time, and I loved the people. I had so many parents, the greatest parents in the world. Gregory Peck, Frederick March, Fred McMurray. All these wonderful people, and women as well. Claudette Colbert, Irene Dunn. I mean, there's so many, and so it was kind of fun to. I mean, we were really having fun. We were play acting, but it took the more serious child to be successful in the business, because it wasn't the little class clown and someone who kind of, fooled around. It was someone who could take direction and be there when they're called and so on. So it was a little bit like working as a kid and almost being treated like an adult, which I loved. I thought it was great fun.
Yeah, please, Mary.
One of the big problems that I had, because I lived in Alabama and I was flying, when I would get done with a job, I would go back to Alabama and then I'd get another job, so I was having to start. And when the kids, my dad had the audacity to send me to an all-girls private school. I didn't know anything about girls. I was like totally lost. The problem was when we work, we're treated as adults. I mean, we have to go to court and sign papers and have lawyers and all this kind of stuff. And I would get home and I couldn't relate to normal children of my age group. And I never knew whether somebody wanted to be friends with me because of who I was, or whether they wanted to be friends. Oh, this is the mayor madam, and she's, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, so it was hard.
Did you get that too a lot, David? You didn't know who your friends were and
Not too much, really.
top.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
No, I didn't get that too much. I mean, when we weren't filming, we'd go to regular school, and, you know, fortunately, I always had some friends that I knew
Yeah.
from previous grades, but I don't know. I was just, you know,
Yeah.
can I go out and play?
Yeah. Did the Waltons welcome you guys with open arms? These sisters of yours, these stage sisters, and still not today. Yeah, that's amazing. Entertainment Television said you have the most recognizable face in the history of TV and film. You? Yeah, you, the guy with the green hat. Yeah. So I'm not going to ask you, like, what's your favorite role, because there's been so many, and that's such a silly question for one to ask. But is there one that sticks out that you go, you know what, yeah, I like that. That was good. Or I really enjoyed doing that.
Oh, I'm proud of probably 75% of the work that I've done. I've been on projects that very few people have seen that I'm very proud of. The movie Apollo 13, to me, stands out. I mean, it's on the Mount Rushmore of my personal list of all-time great films, and I happen to be in it, and I know the guy who directed it. You know, so Apollo 13, but listen, you know, I've also had a lot of fun in my life doing silly comedies. I mean, getting to play along on the Austin Powers movies, and getting to play along with Adam Sandler and the couple of Adam Sandler films that I've done, and then my horror movies. I've been so fortunate in life that, you know, yes, it's very much of it is mainstream, you know, Andy Griffith Show and Gentle Ben and my various runs through the movies, but I've also done a lot of quirky movies, you know, Evil Speak. You know, probably not a big hurrah from that here in this crowd, but in Ice Cream Man.
Ice Cream Man, yeah.
Those kind of films, to me, also, you know, when you work on a little independent movie, there's a different mentality. It's not the big leagues. It's low-budget filmmaking. It's grinded out, and it's kind of, you know, one for all and all for one.
Yeah.
So I've been very fortunate in my career, and if you say somebody elected me the most recognizable person
Entertainment Television.
in my face.
Yeah.
Well, listen, God had something to do with that.
Hey.
You know, listen, honest to God, you know, my mom and dad, they both came from the Midwest. They were just regular folks. My dad was the son of a farmer, and my mom was the daughter of a butcher. And they had a dream of being in Hollywood. And they came together and they started having kids. They had two, and I was the second one. And between their looks and their personality, and then I came out, and of course God shaped it all.
Yep.
And I'm just very fortunate to be along for the ride.
Amen. David,
Hey,
you want to say
Clint?
something?
Clint, you'll always be Blaylock of the Viserys to
Yes, Blaylock from
Tranya, I hope
Star
you
Trek,
relish it as
remember?
much as I.
But
By the way,
first,
how
the
old were you?
Tranya.
How old were you when your first role?
When I did my first role, I was 2.
2 years old.
By the time I got on Gentle Ben, I had already been a professional actor for 6 years.
Wow. Nice. David, can I get that?
Well, both your father and your brother worked on the Waltons, and I'm sure that Rance, your father, probably worked on some of the other shows from a number of the cast.
Oh, yeah.
sitting up here.
My dad's legacy in the business, and this is, I'm going to get emotional here. Yeah, I've had people up here on this panel, and by the way, this is awesome. You're listening and watching Hall of Fame people here.
Yeah.
These people, we're talking
Yeah.
about Gregory Peck
Yeah.
and Alfred Hitchcock. My goodness. But I've had several people up here, and thank you, Judy, that, mentioned that my dad suited up and showed up as a day playing actor he was a professional actor for 60 some odd years. My dad started when he was 21. My dad got in the union when he was like 21 or 22 years old. And he was in the union and worked right up until the day he passed away. So
he told me stories about Kirk Douglas and just all these amazing legends. And I used to have lunch with him and for about 5 years, and he used to refer to him and his brother as the boys. Still, he said the boys, and that's the title of their book, by the way. If you don't have it, their book that he wrote with his brother. It's a fantastic book.
Dad's IMDb page, you have to scroll and scroll.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys have questions. I know you do. We're running a little bit long. I'm going to run around like Phil Donahue and ask. Go ahead.
Mary, I have to ask, you worked with one of my favorite all-time actors. We just lost him, Robert Duvall.
Robert Duvall.
Yeah,
real quick.
Robert Duvall and I only worked together for like 1 or 2 days. I didn't really, and to say how we didn't know each other, referring back to what I said about Bob Mulligan's direction. I had to, when you're working with children, they have to go to school in between. As soon as they call cut, if they're done with you, you go to the schoolroom. So I was headed out the back of the sound stage, and there's these pallets there, and this guy with brown hair, and he's got these chippies standing around with him, is sitting there by the back door, and he says, "Aren't you gonna say hey to Boo?" And I'm looking at this guy, and I have no idea who he is.
Amazing. Sir?
Yes, for Clint, with the Artemis 2 going back to the moon, what was your thoughts? Did you watch and did you keep up with it?
a little bit, but also this is one of those things that I will never ever forget, and that's where I was when I saw Neil Armstrong walk on the moon. And it's just what we've done as a country, and believe me, we did go there.
I think there's nothing right after this, right? You want to? Yeah.
I know too many
You queued
people.
up?
That if that was a ruse, it's an awfully good one, and it's not a ruse. But like on Apollo 13, every day when we were working on Apollo 13, there was a gentleman who was working as a technical advisor. His name was Dave Scott, and he was the first man to drive on the moon. And to be able to pull up a director's chair next to Dave Scott and ask him about what it was like to be there. And you know what he told me? He goes, listen, NASA spent way too much money figuring out how to build a lunar rover. He said once he got on the moon in about 5 minutes, he realized they could have retrofitted a Volkswagen with a hydrogen engine, and they would have gotten along just fine. So those experiences I will cherish the rest of my life.
2 more questions.
Is there any show currently on TV that you'd like to guest star on?
For who's this question?
Any of them.
Any shows that you're watching or that's on television that you want to guest star? Yes, ma'am.
The Chosen.
The Chosen, great show. Yeah. Clint?
I'd like to be on the #1 show because that means you get paid more.
Yeah. Tina, anything on TV that you'd like to be on?
Yeah, I just spent time with Brent Huff, and I said I'd want to be on The Rookie.
The Rookie. How about you, Ray?
I think I want to be on Oak Island.
Okay.
They can dig me
How
up.
about you, Ray?
I would have wanted to work on Dead to Me.
Judy?
Something Taylor Sheridan's doing.
It's great, right? Amazing. How about you? No? John?
Well, like Clint, I always wanted to be a bad guy, crazy, do something, never.
Timmy? Timmy bad? No! Judy?
Nothing that I'm watching now, but yeah, we always wanted to play bad. Yeah. Playing the good, sweet role was not as challenging as for instance, Patty McCormick, who I just met.
Yeah.
Who was in The Bad Seed, and she's adorable. But what a movie and what an opportunity as a child to play someone like that. So.
Carolyn Grimes, my friend, who I brag to everybody that I know and I'm friends with, but doesn't have my phone number.
I can't help it. I never wanted to play a bad person.
No, what are you watching, though? You watching anything currently on television that you'd like to be, you see yourself being a part of? No. How about you, madam? Stop. You've said it too much. Stephanie?
There's so much
There's so much terrific television being made to just single out one show. I agree. Yellowstone would have
Taylor
been great.
Sheridan. Yeah,
Ted
amazing.
Lasso, I love that comedy.
Everything
I
he
miss doing
touches is
comedy.
gold.
Succession was an outstanding
Yeah.
show. There's so many.
Martha?
Any of the Law and Orders or Will Trent?
Okay. David?
Yellowstone.
Yellowstone. David?
Dark Winds.
Good show. Yeah. Okay. One more question, and then we're going to show the trailer for Carolyn's new movie, Jimmy. So can we get we're going to get the lights in a second. Yes, sir.
I was going to ask Carolyn, back when you acted on It's a Wonderful Life, what you think about acting along with Jimmy Stewart and all of those siblings that had grown up in the Jimmy Stewart household. And that's my question.
What was it like to be a part of that family as a little girl?
I was an only child, so it was like heaven to me. I had brothers and sisters, and it was a lot of fun. And we're still friends to this day. So I'm very thrilled that I had the opportunity to meet them.
All right, the lights are going down, and let's take a look at Jimmy.
I'm not a brave man. I'm at the end of my rope and I'm shooting away. You are a star. And America needs stars right now.
How does it feel to be a legend, James?
It's the best building in the world. Black skies are coming, Jim. Mark my words, we'll be at war before Christmas. Don't I have the right to serve my country just like anyone else does? America can't afford to lose Jimmy Stewart. Or you're just not cut out for it. And make peace with the fact that you are what you are. Just an actor. I've done this scene in so many movies. But this isn't a movie. This is my life. What the audience needs is the truth. The question is, are you brave enough to give it to them? Someday, I'd like to be able to look at myself in the mirror and see a good man looking back at me.
Wow. Looking good. Well, thank you, everybody. I want to thank all the guests for being here. Some of you many times over, some of you for the first time. I hope you'll come back. You're certainly welcomed. You're our family, and I know that they share the same. They're going to be at the autograph show. It's tomorrow from 10 until 3, and then again on Saturday. So please come out, say hello, and tell them about what I call moments. To you guys, they were jobs, but to us, they're moments. We grew up with you. We watched your films. We laughed at Dennis the Menace. We looked at Scout and we thought, look at that little girl and all she has to endure. And my gosh, what a cool thing to be living with a lassie and everything, things like that. It's just to you guys, they were jobs, but to us, they're moments. So take that and just let it marinate. I know you're such a humble man, David. And to you, it was a job. And, sometimes, it was a grind. But man, oh man, it was really cool to see that family on Walton Mountain. It was very, very cool. And it's very cool every year to sit with my grandmother and watch It's a Wonderful Life every year. And it means so very much. Because
Bob Ewell fell on his nuts.
So thank you for those moments,
Can
you
I
guys.
say one thing?
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Okay, and it's got to do with y'all, okay? Working on Dennis the Menace, you're aware of the camera, you're aware of the crew, you get laughs, you get this, you get that. But to me, the show never left the four walls of the soundstage, okay? Until I started doing nostalgia conventions. And people would come up and I go, wow, you guys watched it.
Yeah.
It wasn't just ending in that room. So thank you all very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. This is our Legends panel. We have one little presentation that we're going to do very quickly. We have a wonderful artist that has a couple of, I don't know if Jerry's here. I think